Hello? Hello, everyone. Hello? I wonder if you could hear me.
Hello, I can hear you, Isabi.
Okay, hi, Abby. How are you? It's good to have
Yeah,
you on
fine.
the call.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Should I unmute myself or should I just leave it to us? Because I can either unmute or mute myself. What should I do?
It might be better to mute for a while I present the information. There will be a
Okay,
time for question and answers, and I'll come to that.
okay, sure. I'll do that then.
Okay, then.
Okay.
And we've got Nadine on the webinar. Hi, Nadine. Not sure if she's currently on the call. I'm going to get started now because we have a lot of content to cover, and I did say we were starting at 8, so other people might join us even as we go along. I could see that okay, we've got about 5 people on the webinar right now. So as you probably would know, today's webinar is about how to get your first client, and this is quite applicable when you have a service-based business. I'll tell you briefly about myself. I'm Davida, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Smart Marketers Academy. I help women entrepreneurs build six-figure businesses. Now, I work with women who are in the service-based field, such as coaches, mentors, trainers, speakers, authors, and I help them build their businesses in a strategic way so that they can factor profits in from the ground up. I'm a wealth creation and personal development expert, and I've written and published 6 books on money and business and marketing to date. Just to give a bit of a background about myself, I worked as an IT consultant in London from about 1996, helping my clients computerize their business processes before I transitioned into small business consulting and coaching in 2003, and then later on added internet marketing and small business marketing to my portfolio of experience. I've also worked as a coach and a mentor and lecturer for the Peter Jones Academy. I'm not sure if you know about Peter Jones from Dragon's Den. It's an academy that he's actually set up for young emerging entrepreneurs, helping them gain confidence and the mindset and skills to realize their aspirations and dreams as entrepreneurs. Apart from business, I'm an advocate for women. I love to empower marginalized women and children. And I'm not sure where the interference is coming from. Okay. Janet, could you please mute your speaker because
Let me try.
Yeah, I've muted everyone now. Hello, I think I've muted everyone now. Is that okay now? You can, if you want to pass a message on to me, you can use the chat box just below. So I'm just quickly going over a bit of background about myself while we wait for people to join us. So I'm an advocate for women. I love to empower marginalized women and children, which I do through a charity that I set up in 2002. And more recently, because of my exposure to issues about women, I've decided to focus my business on helping women entrepreneurs, helping them to achieve better results in life and in business, and helping them achieve their current financial goals and secure their future prosperity. So that's just the bit about me. Okay. So I'll quickly go into the objective of today's session, and it's to teach you a step-by-step strategy that would help you to get your first client. Now, there is power in just focusing on getting one client, because if you learn the strategy for getting that one client, it's the same. You can repeat it. You can repeat it over and over, and it would help you to get maybe your second, your third, your fourth client, through that strategy you can start to build your business solidly. What I'd also say is that even though this is one strategy, it is probably one of the most basic ones. There are other strategies that you could also use for building your business, and I do not really have the time to go into all of them here. Now, what will you learn on the program? So the first thing you would learn is how to set your marketing goal. In this case, our goal is to achieve, to get one client. You would need to set your own time frame for that, but we'll come to that later on. The second thing we would be looking at is how to create awareness for your business. Then we'll move on to generating client referrals from your warm market. Then we'll look at creating a solid foundation for your business, because if you're going to invite people to your business, you have to have a solid foundation in place. Then after that, we'll look at preparing your warm market campaign, and then implementing your warm market campaign, and then following up on the results of the campaign. At the end of the training, where I do the direct, at the end of the bit where I share those strategies, I will then go into sharing about one of the lower end packages that I have. It's a premium business acceleration program. I'll talk about the bonus draw. I'm not sure if you read through some of the emails I sent. I did mention that I would be offering for every webinar that takes place, I'll be offering the lucky winner 60 minutes of strategic business coaching. There will be a question and answer session, and I might be able to unmute your speakers then, or we might want to use the chat box. And then I'll tell you about our next session, and then we will close. Okay, so I'm going to start now by talking about the dilemma that most people in business go through. And it's people start off in business with a lot of excitement, a lot of passion, but then that passion suddenly fades away when people don't get the results that they have been promised. So, like you see in the title of this slide, it says, where is the promise? And now you probably have heard of the phrase, build it and they will come. Now, this is used a lot in the business world. Oftentimes it's like talking about maybe building a website and expecting people to come. No, it doesn't just happen that way. Sometimes people build a business and just expect people to come. It doesn't happen that way. It has to be strategic. You have to strategically engineer all that to happen. Now, many people would have said, and I've said it in the past, yes, I've built it, but they have not turned up. They have not turned up. And that's the situation that most budding women entrepreneurs probably find themselves in. They have high aspirations, and those aspirations eventually get deflated. Now, one thing about me is that I'm a big picture person. I like seeing the big picture. I'm excited about the big picture. But there's also the nitty-gritty that you have to accomplish. So sometimes when we look at the big picture, we're all excited because we're looking at the end from the very beginning. But later on, when we have to do the details, we can get very discouraged. So what I'd want to say is that as you begin to step out, you need to remember these three things. As you begin to step out to build your business, you need to remember these three things. You need to use what you've got to get what you want. So that's one of the first things. Then the second thing is that you need to go for the low-hanging fruit. You have to go for the low-hanging fruit. There's no point in trying to get the apple at the top of the tree when there are loads of apples at the bottom. A lot of times we overlook those apples at the bottom, but when you're just starting out, that's where you're at, and that's what you can reach. So you need to focus on the low-hanging fruit. Then the third thing I'd like to get across is that you need to use a step-by-step system. Now, when you use a step-by-step system, it takes all the frustration away, because you can see where you're going. You might be on step 2, but at least you know what's going to happen in step 5. But if you don't have a step-by-step system, what you'd find is that you've started this journey, but you're just wandering around. There's no, you don't know what's coming next. You don't know what to expect next. So what I'd say to you is that don't give up on your dreams, because when all the dark clouds are gone, you'd still find that the sun is still shining. You'll find that the sun is still shining even when, after the dark clouds have been blown away. So I'm going to quickly share a bit about marketing with you. And basically, marketing is about getting the word out. It is about creating awareness. So you need to have that in mind. When you're thinking marketing, you're thinking about creating awareness. You might have created a product. You now need to create awareness about that product. Or you've created a service, or you're running a business. You need to create awareness about that. So basically, it's about getting the word out. Getting the word out. You have to, because what I found is that people don't know what you know until you begin talking to them. There's a lady who I spoke to, had a conversation with over the phone yesterday, and there was so much in her, because she was telling me about her dreams, about her passion, and I could see that she was so skilled, and she had so much expertise that she wasn't expressing. And that's what came to my mind, that what I see on the outside and what I see her doing is not a true expression of what is on the inside of her. So marketing, you might have a product, you might have a service, but you need to make sure that it's out there, that people know about it. And one thing I've noticed about my particular walk or my particular journey as an entrepreneur is that maybe I've written a book and I haven't really had the time to promote it that much. But when I do, I see people contacting me for different things, maybe to come on their program, or to put my book in their coaching as part of a coaching program that they have created. And for them, it seems as if I've suddenly arrived. But no, I've had all that information. I've put it in a book, but I haven't truly marketed it. I haven't gotten the message out yet. But sometimes in terms of getting the message out, it's also so important that you have a system for doing it. Otherwise, you'd exhaust yourself. You need to be able to leverage your time and leverage your resources when you're doing business. So sometimes you might have a product, but you want to take your time. You want to use the system that you've built to create that awareness. The other day, still talking about getting the word out. The other day I was talking with a friend. She was at my house, and I was talking to her, and while I was talking to her, a text message came in through her mobile phone, and it was from someone who she had been telling about my services. Now, I remember her telling me about the conversation she had with this person about 2 weeks before, as she thought the lady could benefit from the services I provided. But now, as she read the text message out to me, it seemed that the lady was ready to take the next step in doing business with me. But what I'd say is that this just didn't happen as a coincidence. prior to this happening, I had created some form of awareness. I had sent emails to some of my friends. I had sent text messages to my friends who I knew may know people who needed that service. So I had told them I was starting a new business, and I had told them that who my ideal client was. I told them what I was looking for, so that they won't just send just anyone to me. And I also informed about how I could help them achieve their goals. Then I asked her, I said, if you know anyone who could benefit from what I'm doing, could you please give them my contact details if they were interested, or make an introduction. Then I also asked them to spread the word for me with their contacts, maybe their email list, their phone list, or social media list. So even as you see that there was something that went before that client actually showed some interest in the business that or in the service that I was providing. So a major part of business, like I've said, is getting the word out. As you probably might know, life is made up of a series of actions and consequences. You trigger the consequence that you want for your business by acting intentionally. And in this case, it's getting your message out. So that's high priority. Now, if I hadn't told my friend, or if I hadn't shared the word about what I was doing, my friend wouldn't have been able to respond in the way that she did when she found someone who needed the exact, who had the exact problem that I was ready to solve. So as we go through this program, we will look at ways in which we can get the word out about your business. And we'd also look at ways in which you can make it, you can build your business, or you can market your business more intentionally, so that people can send ideal clients your way. Now, I know some of you on the conference, I recognize your names, and I know that you've been in business, and I believe that you've been doing some of these things. But what might be missing is the strategy, being strategic about it. And just being strategic about it makes a lot of difference. Marketing is not should not be approached in an ad hoc manner. You need to approach it step by step. Now, the kind of person I am, I'm quite creative, and I like flowing from one end to another. I like floating around and enjoying expressing my creativity. But one thing we have to do when we come into the arena of marketing is to follow a system. And people who follow the system find out that it works and eventually produces the results that you want further down the line. Now, hearing about your business's products and services is good news for someone who needs them. We need to have this perspective, or this mindset about our business. Not everybody will be happy to hear, or would need, or want what you do or what you offer, but there will be people who what you're doing is good news for them. So so your business products and services is good news for someone who needs and wants the benefits that they can provide. But how are they going to call on you? How are they going to ask you for what they want if they don't know that you exist? So I think I've labored that point enough, and I'll move on to the next slide. So where do you start? Now, the one of the challenges that we have as maybe women entrepreneurs, or as people who are highly women who are high achievers, what we want to do is just go from zero to hero. We want to start where we are and just want to achieve what we want to achieve without going through the process. But life is about steps, and it's about a process. So where do you start? You have to start where you are with what you have. And if that's where you are, you need not be frustrated, and you need not think you need not think less highly of yourself or of your business. It is only a starting point. That's not where you're going to end up at. Now, when we're talking about where you're starting from, you need to start with your current circle of influence. Now, before I go into this particular slide, I'd just like to share probably share a bit more about where people get their clients from. Now, from the story I told you a while ago about my friend and I, who had told about the services I provided, you could see that it was from a friend, somebody I know. So when you ask, I did a bit of research. I looked at my situation. I looked at a few other people that I had contact with. I asked them about how they got clients, and I also researched some other experts. I went around reading some other expert stories about how they got their first client, and there was always this common trend in all of their stories. They did not start where they were. They had to start where they did not start where they are now. They had to start where they were. So a lot of times you would find that people's clients come from family, friends, and friends of family or friends of friends. Now, for a long time, I never really stopped to take notice of where my clients were coming from. But when I looked back, there was a definite pattern emerging. Most of my clients, most of my first few clients had been friends or family, or both friends and family, across the different businesses that I have run. Now, so that is probably your first. If you're looking at the screen, the first circle there might be the friends and the family circle. Then you might, if you already belong to network groups or you have social groups that you belong to, you might find that some people might come from that particular circle. But in my case, some of the clients I got were from the networking groups that I had joined. I had the members of, once they had gotten to know me, I had attended a few times, they knew me, they knew what I was doing, they knew I would deliver on the promises that I had given. They were happy to refer the people that they trusted to me. So they became a great source of client referrals. Then I'm an internet marketer as well, and what I've also been able to achieve is I've been able to attract leads from the web. So people I did not know, but had gotten familiar with what I did through my website. They had probably been there visiting my websites every now and then, and eventually probably bought a product or asked for a service to be delivered. So you need to be out there, like you could see, friends and family, they need to know what you're doing. The networking group members, they need to know what you're doing. You have the opportunity to share that with them every time that you meet with them. And from my internet and blog, from the internet and from my blog, what I did have was a lot of articles, and when you have a lot of articles or content on your blog, it gives people, you're able to share your expertise, and then people are able to begin to see where you're coming from and appreciate what you have to give to them. Then what I also did was I also visited other people's blogs, and I would become active around those blogs that were highly visited on the web. People probably call these types of blogs authority blogs. So I got active in those communities, and what it did, and I left comments, and what it did was it brought people back to my site. I've also been able to get clients from niche brokerage directories. So if you belong to a particular niche, If you're a trainer, if you're a coach and you're coaching on a particular area, you might find directories online where you can actually put your profile. I've had a lot of leads come through that medium. So even as I was saying, a major part of my client base was built from people who liked and trusted me, people who knew what I was up to business-wise and were happy to do business with me or were happy to refer business to me. Others courted me for a while through my blog or by checking up my professional profile before deciding to do business with me. So what I would sorry, moving on. I just want to conclude on what I'm saying here. So what we're looking at basically is about referral marketing. Referral marketing is a marketing strategy, and it's one that if you can master it, it has the potential of sending you warm and willing clients. Warm and willing to buy clients. Now, what I'd also say is that before people buy from you, especially if you're in a service-based business, I mean, if you're selling products that are that people can get in the supermarket, people don't really need to know that you're credible. But if you're selling a service, credibility matters. People have to like and trust you. They have to know that you're a person of integrity. They also have to like and trust you. So one benefit of focusing on your warm market or your circle of influence, your immediate circle of influence when you're starting out, is that you do not have to build up credibility with them, because it does take time to build up that kind of credibility. Now, these people already know you. They know what you can do. So they're ready to refer people to you. But if you can imagine meeting with someone new, it will take a while to be able to break through on that level. It doesn't mean it's not possible, but you need to be in touch with them several times before you're able to successfully achieve the goal of maybe obtaining them as a client. So that's one major benefit of working within your circle of influence. I've actually written a program called Instant Credibility, how to gain instant credibility, because sometimes if we're venturing into a new area, we wonder, okay, I haven't got credibility in this area, and we spend time trying to build credibility. But the truth is, not, I don't believe it's the people on the outside that need you to be credible, but in your mind, you need to believe that you are credible. So a lot of women starting out or moving into another area of business find this credibility issue a big challenge. So one way of dealing with it is by focusing on your circle of influence. Okay, so as I've given you the background to what we will be doing today, because I'll go into the exact steps of what you need to do to get your first client. The whole idea I'm trying to get across is one of setting up your own warm market referral network. So you're setting up your own warm market referral network, and that's what we're out to do. And basically, I've explained who your warm market is, and what you are actually doing here is asking your warm market for referrals. Now, your warm market is ground that you've already cultivated. You've built relationships with them. So you've probably given to them, you've sown in different ways to them. So asking for something isn't going to be too difficult, and it won't be so difficult for them to give that to you. So basically, ask and expect those referrals to come to you, expect them to give them to you. Okay. Now, before we actually start the process of asking for these referrals, you need to step back a bit and set your goal. You need to ask yourself these two questions. when would I like to have secured my first client? So if it's one client you're looking for, and like I said, there's a power of focusing on one. If it's one client you're looking for, when would you want to have secured that first client? And basically, the reason why I didn't say, okay, get your first client in 10 days or get your first client in 1 day is because everybody's circumstances are different. Some people are working full-time, some people are working part-time, some people are not working but have family commitments. So you need to decide what is feasible for you, because there's no point in setting unrealistic goals. So you need to decide, okay, when do I want to achieve this goal of securing this one client? Now, what I would say is that not to make that decision yet, but make it later or maybe after the program, because you're going to see the different things that you'd have to do to make that happen. So what I'm going to share with you is a 5-step process. The first part of that process is in the pink circle, and it's about preparing your foundation. Now, for people to feel confident to refer people onto you, they have to be sure that you have a foundation in place. And for you even to be confident about sharing about your business, you need to have that foundation in place. And it's not just having any foundation in place. At the Smart Marketers Academy, we are quite concerned about you having the right and a profitable foundation in place that will help you achieve your goals quite quickly. The next thing, once you have your foundation in place, is to build your list. And what I mean by building your list in this case is you're building your list of your warm market. You're building a list of the people in your warm market. Now, one important thing, or one thing that you have to have high on your agenda when you're in business, is your list. Now, I've built several lists at different stages in my life and my business life, or even my personal life. And if you do not know the value of the list, you won't treasure it. You probably have lists all around you, even where you are sitting maybe at your desk watching this watching the webinar. You might have lists, but you might not recognize it because you're not looking for it, and you might not recognize it as the gold that you need and what you need to get what you really want. So your list is quite key, and we'll come to a point where we help you to build that. The next thing, once you've built your list, is to prepare a campaign. You prepare your marketing campaign. Now, when you're creating a marketing campaign, from the word campaign, it's not a one-off event. It's a series of events that gets you as desired results, and that's quite important in this picture. That it's not going to, or a one-off thing is not going to get you the results you need. You need a series of events. You execute these series of events, and they now continue. You begin to build momentum, the momentum that will generate what you really need for your business. After preparing your campaign, you execute the campaign, and then you follow up on your activities. Now, sometimes if you look at this 5-step process, what you might find is that you might not have even had a strong foundation. You might not have prepared your foundation. You might have done a few things in this picture, but you might not have had all the 5 things in there. You might not have followed up your campaign in the way that you should have. You probably might have built a list, or you might not even have built a proper list. So if you give each of these areas the attention that's due to them, you'd find that you begin to build something that is viable, a viable and strong business. So we'll move on to the first part of this process quite quickly, and like I mentioned, it is about preparing your foundation. Now, at this point, one thing you want to do is to be able to answer the question, what do you do? Now, before you go out to start meeting people or telling people about your business, before anyone can refer people to you, you need to be clear about what you do. Being clear gives you the confidence that you need to talk about your business, and also for you to do business. So it's good for you and it's good for the people around you. And if you would notice, it's when you are targeted, or when you are clear, what you stand for is quite clear, then you attract the right people. So you need to have your focus dealt with. If it's fuzzy, if your business is a bit fuzzy, your business idea is fuzzy, then it won't have that attraction power that your business deserves. Now, when people ask me this question, what I say is, I'm a business and marketing coach. I help women entrepreneurs start their businesses strategically, get more clients, and make more profits. I help them to build their businesses with clients and profits factored in from ground up. Now I'll go on to the second question quite quickly. The second question that you would have to be able to answer is, who do you work with? You need to be clear about that. And I would say I work with women entrepreneurs, and what type of women, and I'll go into the detail saying, okay, women with service-based businesses who make their earnings from providing advice, giving information, or providing support. Then I'd go on to saying that the type of women I'd be looking for are women just starting out in business, women struggling with marketing their business, or women who want to build a six-figure business. So I'm quite specific about who I work with. So you need to do the same as well. You need to be specific about who you work with. Now, why do I do it? Now, this is I'm a person, if most of the people on the call probably know me, I'm a passionate person. I work from the heart, So for me, the reason why I do this is I'm an advocate for women, and I'm passionate about business, but also I'm passionate about empowering women. And one of the ways I do it is through enterprise. And I help them to remove some of the major obstacles to their entrepreneurial success and to their future prosperity. So you need to know why you're doing what you're doing. A lot of times when I go into business networking meetings, and I have to give my pitch, I stand up and I tell them what I do. And I tell them, okay, I do it with women. What I find is that so many people come around it attracts their attention, because why do you want to do it with women? Why women? And a lot of people come around asking me, why women? Why women? So you need to, it's not the fact that I'm just a business coach. Why am I doing it? And that needs to come across quite strongly. And all I'm just trying to share with you here are the different things that will help you to make your business more client attractive. Now, the next thing you have to work on with regards to your foundation is you need to know what you're offering to do for them. You need to be quite clear about what you're offering to do for them. So you need to, especially if you have a service-based business, this is sometimes difficult. You might need to package your service into a product. And in my case, the webinar we're on is something I could offer people. So if I tell my friends and maybe family that, okay, I've started a new business and this is what I do, and what am I inviting them to? What am I offering them? Oh, I have a free weekly client attraction webinar, and I run it every week, and I'd like them to join me. So that is something specific that you can invite someone to. So you need to package one of your products quite well. Then another example is a bi-monthly mastermind group that I am planning to run. So that is another package which I can offer the people that I can offer people who might be interested in what I am doing. So when you have all these things in place, it helps. It's a foundation, as you could see. It's a solid foundation that you can now begin to build your business on. So you need to get these four things in place. The first thing I spoke about, I spoke about my market, my target market, what I did. What I do is my niche. You need to make sure that the niche you select is profitable. Then you need the target market also has to be profitable. What I see sometimes is a lot of women trying to build a business, but the market is so unprofitable. The market is not profitable, and they put a lot of effort in. That market will not generate the kind of profits to even make the business sustainable. So you need to think of a profitable market, and those are some of the things we do at the Smart Marketers Academy. We help you build a profitable business from ground up, like I mentioned earlier. So once we've done the first thing, which is to build our foundation, the next thing is to build our warm market list. Now, I know that some of you might have been a part of an MLM business in the past, and you might have built your list, so you probably know how to do that. And some of you might not have been in those kind of businesses, so you need to learn how to do that. Now, like I said, the warm market are people who you already have credibility with, and that is what makes it warm. You already have, they already know you, and that means they're closer to the buy than somebody who doesn't know you at all. If you're going to a new territory, you need to plow the ground. It takes time to plow the ground before you start sowing your seeds. So with the people who already know you, the ground is already plowed, and then now you can sow your seed. Now, even though I spoke about the warm list generally, this diagram just shows you the specifics of the groups of people that might make up your warm list. So you've got family, you've got friends, you've got current and past colleagues, social media contacts, business contacts, social groups you attend, professional associations, and the list can go on and on. Now, in the past, what I realized was I didn't realize the wealth in connections. I didn't even understand the wealth in networks. So, but at a much later time, I realized that without these connections, you're going nowhere. So you need to nurture your relationships. You can't neglect your relationships. The relationships that you have are a great asset for your business. You need to you need to keep on expanding that network. But when you're expanding it, think quality and not quantity, so that you can leverage your time and you can leverage your business and profits as well. Now, there are two types of lists that you're going to create, and from your warm market list. And the first list is a list of potential clients. So this will be people already in your circle of influence who might be ideal clients for your business, who probably want what you already have. And the second group of people would be people who are in your circle of influence, who do not necessarily need or want what you have, but they know other people who want this. So these are the two different groups that you would have to create, two different lists that you have to create. And you might want to maybe start targeting the people on your potential clients list nearly immediately, then maybe later on move on to your people who have who are able to refer others to you. So we've done the first thing, we've done our foundation, we've built our list. Now we are on to writing our letter. Now there is a fourfold purpose to writing this letter. The first is to build rapport. So you need to, for instance, there might be people on your list that you haven't spoken to in a while, you haven't contacted them. So this is the time to build rapport with them. You might need to reestablish contact with others that you haven't been in touch with. But once you've reestablished contact, just look for ways to do things like maybe send them a gift, send them a birthday card, call them, send them a text message. That warms your cold market up. That warms your market up. So the other thing you're going to do through your letter is to inform them about what you're doing, where you're at now in your life or in your business. And the next thing you're going to do is, and this one is quite important, is that you're going to educate them about the type of clients that you're looking for. Now, the content of your letter, I've just given a quick outline of the content of your letter. The first bit is to greet and build rapport. Second one is to tell them about the changes in your life. Maybe tell them about your business, tell them about the services that you provide. Now tell them about any free taster program or freebies that you have that they can pass the benefits on to their contacts. Then you would want to tell them about the types of referrals that you're looking for and educate them on how they should make referrals to you. So for instance, they might arrange an introduction, or they can pass your contact details on or number on. So you've done your foundation, you've done your list, you've got the contents of your letter, and now you need to execute your warm market campaign. Now, what is a campaign? And I think it's quite important that we understand the concept of what a campaign is. You might have seen politicians campaigning before an election, and what they do is a series of meetings, open door meetings or closed door meetings, or they might have their campaigns done in other ways. So basically what a campaign is an organized effort aimed at influencing the decision-making process of a specific group of people. So basically your campaign, your warm letter marketing campaign, is to influence the people who are in that circle of influence towards either becoming a client of yours or referring people they know to you. Now, it's not just a one-off event, it's a series of events that you plan. So because it's a series of events, you need to decide on the frequency, and then which could be monthly or quarterly. And then after that, you send your letter. Now, what I would say about the frequency of the campaign is that because they're not, some of those people might not be your target market, as in that they're not your clients, you're not your ideal clients. So you don't want to bombard them with emails that they don't want from week to week. However, once you found those who are ideal clients, you might be able to subscribe them onto another list so they can join another list, and they might be people who you can mail on a week-to-week basis. For instance, if you have a newsletter that you send out every week, they might be the ones to receive that because they have an interest in what you are offering. However, the other people on your list may be people that you might want to send a letter to or an email to once a month. So basically, you'll be sending them an email just telling them, oh, you know what's happened. You might share some success stories with them. Just tell them about your business. So if I remember, these people are friends and family who might just want to know what's happening with you and what's happening with this business. So it's important that you might just schedule to send one a month. In sending your letters, you might do it one-on-one. That means you just do a letter to one and a letter to two. You might decide, okay, I'm going to do 10 every day and just send individual letters. You might do it on a mass on a mass basis. And if you do that, you might want to individualize each one of the just individualize the email, so it's not just like you haven't really taken any time to work on what you are communicating with them. Now, it's also important that you work in batches. So for instance, if you have 100 people on your list, maybe you decide to do 10 or 20 this week because you still need to follow them up. So you need to make room for that. You need to allow time for that. So we're on to the fifth point, which is following up. So you send your letter, you follow up with a phone call or a text message, or, there's several ways that we can contact people these days. We can do it through, if you're into social media, you can do it through your social media profile. You can send them a text, you can call them. But follow up your letter just to talk. You've written a letter to them. You might want to bring it to the forefront of their minds, or they might have questions to ask you about what you're doing, so that and by doing that, you're able to reinforce what you have already sent and making it more permanent in their minds. Then once you've done that, you followed up on them and they've referred people to you, you follow on up with your clients and you give them feedback about how your contact with that particular client went. So basically, those are the 5 steps that I will be talking about here. And the good thing about getting clients from your warm market is that you don't have to sell to them. Most of the people who they would refer to you are probably already sold. So you're new to the business, you might not even know what to do or what to say to them in terms of selling to them directly, because marketing is one thing, selling is another. You need to market and you also need to sell. But with your warm market, the selling isn't as the learning curve, or what you have to do with regards to the selling isn't that high, because there are already people if they're being referred to you, they're already sold in most cases. They just want to know the details and maybe not want to know how they have to go about processing payment details or having the service delivered. Now, at this point, I'm just going to quickly go into the next session, and that's about telling you about the offer that I was mentioning earlier on, and it's about one of the other packages that I have developed to help women in business, and it's our client attraction and business acceleration mastermind groups for women entrepreneurs. Now, this is one of our lower ranged but premium package, premium in the sense of the quality and what you'll be able to achieve by being a part of this mastermind group. And by accessing this opportunity, you would have the help, you'll be able to get the help for accelerating your business's growth. So it's a mastermind program created to help you speed up your business's growth, but the focus is implementation. Now, you've come on this webinar. This is not about implementation unless you do something about it. And it's generally known that people, if you don't implement what you've learned within 72 hours, that the likelihood for implementing it is very low. So basically, this particular group is to help you work on your business. It's a hands-on program aimed at helping you to learn and implement and get more done. Now, the program is going to help you get more clients, because the focus of it is getting more clients. And it's also because sometimes we have, you might have a mastermind group, but the focus is different. But in this case, our focus is on helping you to get more clients. And it's also to help you build a leveraged and profitable business. You'd also have access to the collective intelligence of other women on the program, including myself. Now, yeah, so if this is an opportunity that you would be interested in, you might just want to drop me an email. I'll share my email even at the end of this slide. So if you're accepted, because I'd have to, it's a mastermind group, we have to make sure that you are suited for the group or for the program to start off with, and that you're a good match for the other people who'll be on the course, because there's no point in bringing people maybe very diverse goals together. So if you're a good match for the program, you'll be working with other like-minded women entrepreneurs who are committed to accelerating their business growth over the next 12 months. It'll be an intensive hands-on program. Like I said, it's all about implementation. You'll be able to do more than you ever thought was possible. We'll be brainstorming solutions, be hot seating each member of the group and sharing the best way for you to start getting clients and boosting your profits. Through the program, you'd master the skills of marketing, and you'd also build a leveraged and profitable business. So if you would like to be a part of this privileged group, you can get in touch with me. Like I said, it's for women who are committed to accelerating their business growth over the next 12 months. and that's my email there, and it's davida@thesmartmarketersacademy.com. Now, this program is normally £97 for the month, and the month each month we'll be meeting twice, and for about an hour and a half online, and there's also a forum which I'll be developing to help us move our goals forward. So first there is the £97. It's £97 normally, like I said, and it would be £48.50 per session. But what I'm doing now is offering it at £70 a month, which would be £35 per session. This is an investment in something that you would be able to draw money from much later on. Just before I go over to the question and answers, I'd also quickly like to talk about the bonus, which I did mention. There's for the people who've attended the webinar, I'll be doing a draw, and and you'd have the opportunity to have a free business marketing strategy session with me. And this would be offered every week. So please invite people to attend, and I'll be announcing the winner shortly. So now question and answers, and if anyone has any questions that they would like to ask, you can either maybe type your name, type it in the message box, and I would unmute. I can unmute all so that we can hear everyone, but it would be best to put your name in the box and the message chat box so that you can so that we can all actually agree on who is ready, who's going to be speaking.
Yes, speak to your mom.
If you're not speaking and there's background noise in your home, please mute your speaker. Does anybody have any questions?
Are you on your way? Are you on your way?
Hello? Does anyone have any questions?
Coming home today.
Okay, I'm going to mute everyone because of the background noise. But if you have a question, please let me know. Do you have questions? Anyone? No questions. Okay. So since there are no questions at this point, I'm just going to announce the next session. The next session, can we receive slides? The thing about this program is that it's actually going to be sold. It's going to be part of our Smart Marketers program. So unfortunately, I would say no. Unfortunately, I would say no, because it's going to be part of our program, which is a paid program, and yes, so that's the decision we've made in that sense. Yeah, so our next session is on the 12th of February. And that's next Wednesday. As you know, the program is called Get More Clients Wednesday. And on this program, you'd learn how to find a profitable target market. Like I mentioned, it's important you build a right foundation. You need a profitable target market for doing this. And we're right on time. We're just 2 more minutes before the end of the call. And I'm just going to say thank you everyone for joining me. This is our first webinar at the Smart Marketers Academy, and I want to say thank you for joining me. The topic for the next one is how to find a profitable target market. The topics. Allotted, I'm not sure what your question is. The topics for the webinar can be found at our website. For the mastermind, with a mastermind group, ideally it would be people coming with their own particular problems. So people will be coming to talk about their businesses and what they want to do and would want, if they want to brainstorm on that, we'll be able to do that together. It's not a structured program as such, but it would have a lot of input from myself, probably using the program that I've created for the Smart Marketers Academy, and yeah, because different people might be coming on and they might be working on their own businesses. So basically, this is a mastermind group. It's not a specific group using my particular Smart Marketers blueprint to build their business. That is actually a higher range product, which is what one of the products that comes after the mastermind group. The mastermind group has been packaged to be affordable for people who just want to try things out, or who may not really be able to afford one-to-one coaching or a product at the higher end. Any more questions? Yeah, the question, yes, okay, so topics but the topics I'll be covering with yeah, I think I've answered that question. Okay, but thank you for attending. I'll unmute you, and if you want to just have a chat with me, that's fine. Thank you, Janet. I'll unmute you all. We can just talk before you actually go. I'll stop the recording of the program and I'll unmute everyone. Thank you.